Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer, rocking his Red Sox jerseys and hoodie today. We're going to jump into some lines tonight, Nate. We did have a bunch of gift card winners last night for Joel Embiid's total points and rebounds. My man dropped 41 last night, 35 points and 6 boards. We had a bunch of people win that, so we'll be getting those gift cards out, and stay tuned tomorrow for another one. As always, make sure you like to subscribe to the video and then jump in those comments with the total as we'll give it to you. And if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account still, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find all those local listings in your area. Let's jump into those lines for Wednesday night, Nate.
Yes, sir. We got the Wolves +2 at Pacers. We got the Wizards -3 at Magic. Still don't know where Bradley Beal is at. Knicks +3 at those struggling Celtics. Kemba Walker will sit on the back-to-back there. Pelicans now +9, expected to be without Brandon Ingram at the Nets, who are expected to get Kevin Durant back, but obviously no James Harden. The Grizzlies, with a bunch of folks questionable, are +2.5 on the second leg of a back-to-back at Atlanta. The Mavs -11.5 at the Rockets. Hornets -5 at Thunder. Spurs +7 at Nuggets. And the premier matchup to close it, Jazz -1.5 at Suns. Doesn't get any hotter in terms of regular season performance for those. That was a horrible unintentional pun there. And so, Josh, take us to the desert and give us your picks for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to start there. That's going to be the most pleasing game for sure. Two of the best teams in the league and the top, sitting atop the West right now. You've got Phoenix and Utah, both 9-1 in their last 10 with a +10 net rating. So they are beating up on some bad teams recently. Actually, Utah did get smacked by Dallas in their last game, and that is because they shot 27% from deep and allowed Dallas to shoot about 47 beyond the arc. What we told you before that game was that is going to be crucial for Utah's chances, and once again, that is the case. How well are they shooting the three, and how well are they defending the three? However, I do like Phoenix to be able to probably win tonight. I'm probably going to look at the money line there because I like the way that they match up with Utah. You kind of see Utah being a little bit one-dimensional in that sense, since when the 3-point numbers don't go in their direction, they tend to lose those games. They are 6-8 against the spread since the All-Star break, despite the fact that they are winning a bunch of games. And so I'm looking at Phoenix to be able to win despite even if they don't hit threes. Phoenix shoots the most mid-range shots, and they have the best percentage from about 10 to 16 feet. That's according to Basketball Reference. So you see Utah driving people off the three-point line, not allowing them to score and trying to force them into those shots, as they allow the most mid-range shots in the league for a reason. But against Phoenix, that's not a great strategy, who shoots incredible from 2-point and probably the best half-court offense in the league, with CP3 controlling the pace and keeping their offensive rating high. Despite the fact that they play the 5th slowest pace, they score the 7th most points in the league. So I'm really looking for a big game from Phoenix tonight and stepping up with a victory, and potentially even looking at teasing them with the points, but definitely really like the money line bet right now at about +135 or so.
Yeah, I like the Suns in this matchup for the reason you mentioned, that they are the 3rd best 3-point defense in the NBA. And the Jazz, when they're not getting those threes to fall, when they're not opening it up on the interior with that shooting, they struggle, as we saw. I think you could see another under if they do continue to struggle in that way. We could really see it slow down. And down the stretch, you obviously want Chris Paul on your side if it turns into a half-court game where you have to find those mid-range shots that some of the young guns are not even aware are an option on the other side of the ball. Yeah, the Suns have won 9 of their last 10 against winning teams, too. It's the Jazz have been a little more inconsistent in terms of when they actually face good teams. Yes, they have the most blowout wins in the NBA, but what do they do when it bogs down? And most recently, we saw them fail to score over 103 against the Dallas defense. So I like that pick, and I like potentially getting the under in there as well. I'm looking at the Spurs and Nuggets out in Denver. 7-point spread for the Nuggets is a little scary, just because the Spurs always find ways, right? But they haven't found a way to win in Denver. They've been covering, but the Nuggets have 5 straight home wins against these Spurs. The Nuggets have 7 of their last 8 against winning teams. They have come away with a W there. And they've actually shored up their defense recently. They were number 1 in offensive rating. I mean, they have been for months, but their defensive rating was about 25th during a span. Now it's down to 14th. They're allowing just 103 points per game in their last 5, scoring about 117. And their biggest weakness has been the 3-point defense, right? 27th in that department. But the Spurs attempt the second fewest and make the second fewest threes. They attack the rim. So that's not necessarily advantage Spurs there. What is advantage Spurs is when you attack the rim against the Nuggets, you get all the way to the cup. I really like DeMar DeRozan in terms of player props and DFS plays in that regard. I think he will dominate the ball, especially if DeJounte Murray sits tonight. DeRozan will be attacking that rim with impunity, and I think that's what will help us get over the total. I mean, we can always expect the Nuggets to score at least 110 against a bad defensive team. The Spurs allowing a whopping league high 127 points per game over their last 5, lost 4 of those last 5. They're 24th in defensive rating since the All-Star break. They've gone over in 8 of their last 11, etc. There should be an over here. The question is, are the Nuggets going to be able to pull away? I don't necessarily think so, but I think they do get the win and the over. So I would parlay that.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared of Denver's spread there. Yeah, the Spurs always play them tough, even if they don't win in Denver, as you mentioned. And then Denver, they are 3-4 against the spread this year on no days rest. This does seem like kind of one of those spreads that's a little bit too big for them to be handling on 0 days rest right now. And then one thing I will look at, and maybe we'll talk about in DFS, is Michael Porter Jr. continues to shine. 25 points last night against a really bad Detroit team. So we'll see how that goes for him tonight. Keep an eye on his props. I do like that game a lot, Nate. And then another game that's not going to be quite as pleasing, but I think we can definitely find some value here, is with the Wizards taking on the Magic. Right now, both of those teams, whenever I see them, on the slate, I'm looking at the under right now because, or plainly put, Orlando can't score as they lost their 3 best after losing their 3 best players. And then you've got Washington, who's still being overvalued because they've been known for a couple of years now as a team that, can put up 130 points each night. Well, there's no Brad Beal once again, probably almost definitely tonight, no Brad Beal, as you mentioned at the top of the show. And that's going to really be the biggest deciding factor. You've also got Rui as a game time decision. But without Beal this year, they're 1-8 overall. They score 104 points a game, which is way down from everyone expecting them to put up near 120. Their offensive rating is only around 102. And in their last 8 overall, of which Beal has played like 3 of those games, they still have a number 20, 27th in offensive rating in the league. And that's been the case for them since the All-Star break. It's been unders, especially on the road this year. 8-15 on the road is the over is 8-15 on the road this year. So, I'm really liking that. And then you look at Orlando averaging 102 in their last 9. The total has gone over for them recently, and that's strictly because, in my opinion, they've been playing, the best teams in the league, the best offenses really in their last 7 games or so. So they've been giving up points, and they've been playing at a little bit faster pace, but I don't see this game getting to the 222.5 total. So I'm really, really liking the under. I don't really trust anything other than probably a Russell Westbrook triple double, which is not available yet, but you might be able to find it before the game starts. Other than that, I'm definitely going to pound the under on this one.
Yeah, because we talked about when these guys get a shot who are, fringe NBA players or young players trying to make their way in the league, they really play defense, and that's what we've seen from the Magic. Yes, they weren't able to step up against those Jazz Nuggets types teams, and they gave up enough points to go over. But otherwise, we've seen really good effort. And when it comes to denying a Westbrook-led team, it's about effort, it's about discipline. And the key for me there is Orlando allows the second fewest free throw attempts per game. Washington leads the league in free throw attempts. That's Westbrook's go-to. Yep. So I think if they can keep him off the line, they will keep this game under. Yep. Definitely a good call there. My last game I'm eyeing right now, I'm going to have to wait on all this injury news with the Grizzlies on a back-to-back. We have Ja Morant, Brandon Clark, and Anthony Melton, all game-time decisions. I think if Morant's ruled out, you might get some value with Memphis, which is already +3 at Atlanta. They can keep plugging right along with Tyus Jones at the point spot. Yes, they'll be less explosive, but it's not necessarily about being explosive for this team. It's about being methodical, being very disciplined on the defensive end, great 3-point defense, and they've done a great job keeping Trae Young from hurting them from deep. In fact, in his last 3 against Memphis, he's a whopping 2 for 21 from deep, 25% in his career. Another thing to look at with Atlanta is they give up the 4th most paint points at home. Memphis leading the league in paint points for a second straight year. They can always play through Jonas Valanciunas in the paint. And you gotta watch. I mean, John Collins and DeAndre Hunter are out. You gotta watch Clint Capella tonight. He was questionable last night with a hand issue. See how much he's able to go on a back-to-back. And mostly it's just Atlanta, 8-16 against winning teams. They have not been reliable. Their last 4 wins, a bit of fool's gold because 2 of them came against the Pelicans, who were resting everyone. I don't think that they necessarily have the chops to face the top teams in the West when they have their guys. And Memphis has won 8 of their last 9 against the East. That includes 2 wins over Miami and 1 over Philly. So I'm definitely impressed with how they perform when they get to face the weaker conference.
Agreed, 100%. And I loved them last night against Miami. They've been owning Miami recently. Potentially some revenge sort of factors there after that trade last season where Iguodala went to Miami after refusing to even play for Memphis. So I like what they've been doing against the East, obviously the Heat, and then I'm feeling them again tonight. They are 9-6 against the spread this year as the underdog when they are on the road. So I like them to continue to be able to cover spreads while they are in that position. I did want to get a quick hit in there as we are looking at probably his basketball majesty, Kevin Durant, coming back tonight for the Nets. Despite not having Harden, you're still looking at them taking on a Pelicans team that will be without Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Neil Walker, Alexander, and forgetting one other guy that's probably not playing for them tonight. And then Kyra Lewis, who, the rookie who has looked good when he actually gets on the floor. So, I'm looking at KD to come in, be able to handle some offense right away on some pretty good rest. From what I understand, he's been ready to come back, but they've been extra cautious. And you've got a Pelicans team that just continues to give up points. 9 points is a large spread for this team, but I am going to look to tease down that Brooklyn spread to about 4 points or 5 points, and then combine that with the Denver game where they would only need to beat the Spurs by about 1.5 or 2 points. So that's just a quick hit that I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely a good call. And if there's a total you like, I would tease 231 is the total in that Pelicans Nets game. I would tease it down to 227, and you can get some really good value there. That game is almost certainly going to go over. And it has some great DFS options with the Pelicans shorthanded. Lonzo Ball has been killing lately. Guys like Najee Marshall and James Johnson are stepping up with Ingram and Hart out. So that's some good value. Also, Memphis, I mentioned, obviously, Tyus Jones if John Morant sits. I think either way, you go with the rookie Desmond Bane. He's been very consistent lately, gets a good matchup tonight. D'Angelo Russell is a bit cheap as he comes back for his second game. He's probable tonight. Minnesota, watch out for them scoring a little bit now. DeRozan, we mentioned. I would pair him if you're paying up for Nikola Jokic. I would pair him and hope for some high scoring game there. And yeah, CP3. We also talked about if you get into another gritty half court game against a contender, he should pay off his price tag.
Yeah, I'm liking that. And then I'm actually looking a game we didn't talk about. The Hornets are taking on the Thunder. You've got Gordon Hayward out. Obviously, LaMelo Ball still out, so you might find some value with guys like Devontae Graham in there, and potentially even Malik Monk, who has looked really good in the second half of the season. So good stuff, Nate. We are looking forward to a pretty fun slate tonight, some pretty interesting games. Make sure you do jump into the comments, like and subscribe for us. Let us know who you guys are betting on tonight. We'll be back with another gift card for you guys tomorrow. And as for tonight, happy betting.